Namaste. It's Jackie, and we're here again to do a little yoga practice together. We're going to be together for about the next 30-40 minutes, so give yourself the space and time to do this self-care practice. So we'll be doing some nice movement and deep breathing. You might take a moment to set out your mat and maybe close the door of the room that you're in, turn off your devices, and give yourself this little bit of time to care for your body. So today we're going to start lying down on our mat. So if you set yourself out on the floor, you want to have room behind you to stretch your arms all the way up over your head when you're lying down. So just come to your mat and take a moment to get settled. You can lie down on your back. You might enjoy just stretching your arms up over your head for a moment and just checking out the space that you're in by moving your eyes around, maybe stretching your arms, spreading your fingers, settling in, and then let your arms come down and draw your knees up into your chest. And you can just massage your back, and we're beginning to notice the body here. So how does that feel for your back, and what movement feels nice? So it might be a gentle rocking side to side, or maybe letting the knees make circles, so you're massaging your back in that way. Maybe a little movement in the feet, wiggling the toes, circling the ankles. Or sometimes I like to just shake off the day, so you can shake your hands, shake your feet, just shake it all off. And then let your feet come down to the floor. And take a moment to rest your legs, to rest still for a moment. You could rest your hands on your belly. You might even have your feet apart and your knees touching, closing the eyes, feeling the sensation of touch, all the places you're touching the floor, and just beginning to turn away from the concerns and to-dos of the day. So taking a moment to settle in for your practice, we're going to take a couple of sighs here to help us to settle. So please inhale deeply through your nose and then through your mouth. Sigh, even ah is a nice sound. One more time, big inhale. And a good I'm just beginning to settle. So we're bringing our awareness and our attention here into this moment. So we're lying down, perhaps the eyes are closed, letting our attention become more inward. So as you take that first few moments to settle, bring your hands down by your sides, and you might even begin here with your eyes still closed. And we're going to inhale and lift the arms up over the head all the way back to the floor behind you, and spread your fingers, enjoy that stretch. And as you exhale your arms down by your sides, hug your belly in. Eyes open or closed, whatever's more comfortable for you. Inhale, lifting the arms as if you are moving with your breath. So as your exhale begins, then let the arms come down. Breathe in and out through the nose. And as your inhale begins, slowly lift your arms up over your head. So let your breath be as slow and smooth as you can. And try to coordinate the slow, smooth movement with your slow, smooth breath. Exhale down. Let's do one more repetition. Inhale, lift your arms up and spread your fingers. Enjoy the stretch. Exhale, lower your arms. And when your arms are down by your sides the next time, pause. And let your feet come up off of the floor, draw your knees into your chest. And similarly, with the legs, we're going to inhale and extend the legs toward the ceiling. And you can push your heels up and spread your toes. And on the exhale, bend your knees. You could try pointing your toes and squeezing the toes here. That's interesting. Inhale, push your heels up and see what you notice in your knees and your hamstrings. Exhale, bend even the calf muscles or the soles of the feet. So do that again. Inhale, lift your legs. Exhale, bend your knees. And this time we'll add the arm movement as well. So inhale, lift your legs up, lift your arms up, spread your fingers, spread your toes. Exhale down. And you might be breathing a little slower or a little faster than me. So do 2 more rounds and coordinate with your breath. So a slow inhale to lift. A slow exhale to lower. Hug in your belly a little bit on the exhale. And again, inhale, lift. Exhale, coming down. And then once you're down, you can let your feet come to the floor. We're going to do one more movement on our back here. And for this part, we're going to try to think about our breath in a more refined way. So it's just starting with your hands down by your sides. On your in-breath, push the palms of your hands into the floor and feel the chest expand. And on your exhale, hug your belly in. So you can think about pushing your low ribs toward the floor, hug in the abdominal area. And then inhale, lift your right leg up toward the ceiling. You're going to keep the left knee bent for this part. Hold on the exhale, pull your belly in, and on your inhale, as that right leg lowers down to the floor, we're going to lift the left arm, the opposite arm, over the head. Now begin the exhale by hugging in your belly, and then lift your leg and lower your opposite arm. We'll do that a couple of times. So inhale, leg down, arm up, going as slowly as you can. Maybe your hand and your foot touch right at the same time. Exhale, belly in, lift your leg, lower your arm. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. And then pause while your leg is in the air. Take your hands, and if you can reach, you can interlace your fingers behind that leg. And it's fine if the knee is bent a little bit here. Bring your hands pretty close to your hip. And on the inhale, just extend the leg a little bit more. Push your heel up, and you can pull your hands towards your leg to support that opening. Exhale, soften the knee, pull your belly in. And inhale, just get a little length there. Again, it's fine if that knee is bent a little. Exhale, bend. Don't tense up your shoulders here. So notice if you're lifting your head or your shoulders. Inhale. And this exhale, just bend that knee, release your hands, and put that foot down on the floor. And as you inhale, lift your left leg up toward the ceiling. So as you hold on the exhale, pull your belly in, and here we go on the other side. So the leg's going to go down as the opposite arm, right arm goes over your head. And exhale, hug your belly in, lift your leg, lower your arm. So slow inhale as the leg goes down, the arm goes up. Maybe they touch the floor right at the same time. Pull your belly in, lift your leg, lower your arm, nice and smooth and slow. And one more. Inhale, leg down, arm up. Exhale, leg up, arm down. Pause here. See if you can interlace your fingers behind that leg, maybe even cross the fingers the opposite way, if you know what I'm talking about. You can have a slight bend in that knee, and the hands pretty close to your hip, as low down as you can get them without straining your shoulders. And then inhale, extend the leg up. Push through your heel, spread your toes. Exhale, soften the knee and hug in your belly. Inhale, extending through the heel. So it's just seeing what you're noticing here. Exhale, and try to keep your heel pretty much right over your hip. We're not trying to bring the foot way up toward the nose. And this exhale, you can release your hands and bend the knee. Take a breath. Release, and then pick your feet up off of the floor, and 3 more times we're going to do the lift of both legs and both arms, and you can just notice any difference you feel now in your knees or hamstrings. So as you're ready, inhale, lift both legs, both arms. Exhale down. You might think about this whole practice as a time to cultivate awareness. So don't try not to be so judgmental about your body. We say things like, I have a bad knee. You don't have a bad knee. It's a nice knee. Inhale up. Exhale down. And then we're going to come over to the side. So just roll gently to one side. Use your hands to push yourself up. And for the next part, we're going to come on to hands and knees. So if it's helpful for you to pad your knees when you come onto all fours, that's fine. I have a blanket here I'm going to use, or you could double up your yoga mat or use a towel or something. Always getting what you need to take care of your body. So we're going to come to all fours and take an inhale here. Lift your chest, lift your eyes. Now exhale here. We're pulling in the belly, and we're going to round back to child's pose. Let your elbows touch. Let your head bow down. And then glide back up to tabletop on your inhale. Lift your chest and eyes. And back on your exhale. Lift on your inhale. So the next round, a little bit like what we just did on the floor, we're going to lift the opposite arm and leg. So we're going to exhale back to child's pose, hugging in the belly. And when you rise, extend the right leg behind you and the left arm forward. And you can just keep your eyes right down on the mat so your neck is even and it'll help your balance. And then when you exhale, lower your hand, your knee, and fold back. And now switch sides. So inhale, rise, lift your left leg and your right arm, looking down. And when you get to the exhale, pull your belly in. Maybe your hand and your knee touch right at the same time. Fold back and down. So with as much control as you can, we'll do each side one more time. So slow inhale to lengthen everything out. And your slow exhale to bring everything down. Remember to pull in your belly. Slow inhale, left leg, right arm. Slow exhale, coming down. And in this inhale, just come up to all fours and put your elbows down. So we're going to get off the wrists for a moment, and we're going to let the hips sway side to side. That may be nice for your hips or even the sides of your legs. Another way you can do this here is to stretch your arms out further in front of you and lower your forehead closer to the floor. This is a big stretch in the shoulders and puts a little pressure on the neck. I don't go all the way down because then you wouldn't be able to hear me, but if you like it, you can just put your head down like your dog. It's puppy pose. You can still let your hips sway. And being on the elbows here is also fine if it's better for your shoulders. And then push up to your hands and stand all the way up on your knees. And we'll continue to open up the hips in that back bendy kind of movement. So make sure your knees are comfortable. And we're going to inhale and lift the arms up over our head like we did lying on our back. And this time you can lift your eyes, and there's a little more of a back bend here. And slow exhale. You might follow your hands with your eyes as you lower them down. And do that again. Inhale up. So here we feel the breath in the chest on the way up. And lower your hands, lower your eyes, hug in your belly. No rushing at all. One more. Inhale. Exhale. The next one we're going to add a twist. So on the inhale, it'll look the same. Both arms up. And on the exhale, we're going to let the right hand sweep behind. The whole arm is going to go back, left arm forward, and look over that shoulder. Hug your belly in here. And then inhale back to the center, lift everything up. Big breath. Go to the same side again. Exhale to the right, belly in. Inhale up to the center, lift. One more time, turning to the right. So turn your navel, turn your ribs, turn your head and eyes. Let the inhale bring you back to the center, and this exhale, just smoothly lower everything down to the center. We'll do one repetition in the middle to the center. So inhale, arms up. Exhale down. And no rushing at all. Let's try the other side. So inhale up. And then the left arm behind, right arm forward, turning the navel, turning the ribs, turning the head and the eyes. And when your inhale begins, we come back to the center and lift again. When you feel your exhale begin, hug your belly and start to turn. And you're turning your whole upper body. Inhale, center, and lift. One more time to the left. And then inhale to the center. And then one more repetition with both arms. Down all the way. Lower your eyes. Hug in your belly. And big inhale. Maybe even pause for just a second at the top of that in-breath. And all the way down. Exhale. Pause. You might like moving your shoulders, turning your head a little bit. You notice the feeling, the effect of that back bend for you. And then we're going to do a little forward fold after that. So please come to tabletop again. Hands on the floor and fingers spread wide. Inhale, lift your chest, and exhale back to child's pose. And that rounding of the back may feel nice here. And then glide back up to tabletop, lift your chest and eyes. And exhale back, pulling in the belly. And then inhale up, and we'll continue to stretch out our back in the downward facing dog pose. So tuck your toes under, push up to dog pose. You might start here with a bend in your knees, and then you can walk out your legs. See what you feel here. Maybe turning your head side to side. Doesn't matter if your heels touch. We're just trying to open up the back of the body. And then please inhale to all fours. And we're going to do a little sequence where we're going to combine our downward facing dog with the movement we did on our knees, lifting our arms over our head, which is called lightning pose. So here on the inhale from tabletop, lift your chest and eyes. Exhale, round back to child's pose, letting your elbows touch, hugging the belly in. Sweet bow. And then glide back up to all fours on your inhale and tuck the toes under. As you exhale, pull your navel in and push yourself slowly up to dog pose. And then inhale back to your knees with as much control as you can. Lift your chest and eyes. Untuck the toes. Exhale back to child's pose. And as you go back, move your hands forward a little bit. And on the inhale, lengthen your arms, lift your chest, rise all the way up onto your knees and lift your eyes. And exhale as smoothly as you can, all the way back down to child's pose. And then inhale up to all fours. Slide your hands right back under your shoulders. Tuck your toes under, exhale to downward dog. Inhale to your knees, lift your chest and eyes. Untuck your toes and exhale back to child's pose. Again, walking the hands forward and inhale, lengthen your arms, lift your chest, come on up. You got to recruit your back muscles a little bit there. Exhale all the way down with as much control as you can. Child's pose. One more sequence. Inhale, tabletop. Tuck your toes, exhale, down dog. Inhale to your knees, lift your chest. Exhale, round back to child's pose, moving the arms and hands forward. And then one more time up to the sky, inhale. And one more time all the way back down to child's pose. And you are welcome to stay in child's pose, maybe letting the knees be wider or placing your hands under your forehead. If you're a big fan of downward dog and you'd like to come to downward dog here, you can push up to dog pose and hold that for a moment. So notice your breath, whatever you're choosing to do. Just notice what you feel. And then for the next part, we're going to stand up on our feet. So from wherever you are, child's pose or down dog, just make your way up to stand on your feet. And if you did have some padding there under your knees, you can slide it off to the side. And then when you come to standing, you might give everything a little jiggle, a little shake, and get a sense of how you feel standing on your feet. You might even close your eyes for just a moment and pause. So mountain pose, we're standing nice and tall, steady on our feet. So we're going to let our mountain pose move, so please let your eyes open if you haven't already. And on the in-breath, we're going to take the arms out to the side and all the way up over the head, and you're lifting your heels up here. So let your heels lift. And then exhale, let your hands float down and see if your heels can touch when your hands touch the sides of your body. And you're going to probably feel your legs quiver a bit. So do that again. Inhale up. Maybe try looking up. That makes the balance more challenging. Exhale down. Pull your belly in. Okay, this one we're going to try to stay one breath at the top. So just inhaling up whatever amount you can, feeling of a lengthening. And on the exhale, we're going to soften the knees, soften the elbows a little bit and lower the heels down a little bit as you hug your belly in. And then let the inhale lift you back up. And then exhale all the way back down, letting your heels touch when your hands touch your legs. Okay, this time we're going to do that for 2 breaths. So inhale up. So the more you lift your heels up, the more challenging this is. It's okay if you wiggle around or tiptoe around. Exhale, soften the elbows, pull your belly in, soften your heels down a little. Inhale, lift back up. Exhale all the way down. Whoop, I meant to stay 2 breaths. So we were supposed to stay 2 that time. So we're going to stay 3 this time if I remember. So inhale all the way up. You're going to stay 3 breaths. So here's the exhale. We're going to soften a little bit. And here's the inhale, lift back up. Okay, that was 1. Exhale, soften a little bit. Inhale, lift a little bit. So lifting the eyes or even trying to close the eyes makes this quite a bit more challenging. Exhale, soften. Last breath, inhale, lift. See if you can pause at the top of the inhale. And exhale all the way down. Enjoy your feet on the floor. Shake out your legs a little bit. They may feel a little bit warmed up. And there's a little bit, just like the movement we did on our knees, a little bit of a back bend in that movement. So we're going to do from here the chair pose. I have a yoga block here. If you happen to have one, it's a great tool for this pose. If you don't have one, it's fine, but you can put it up between your upper legs, so above the knees, so that it helps firm up these muscles and keeps our joints stacked up. So I'm going to turn to the side so you can see my back. So we're going to take the hands to the sides of the body, take an in breath. And on the exhale, we're going to sink back into chair pose. So we're going to let the hands just slide down the sides of the legs. And you can bend your knees a lot or not very much, depending on your knees. Hips go back. And inhale, rise back up to standing, get as tall as you can. Okay, again, exhale down, hug in the belly. If you have the block there, you can lightly hug your legs toward the block. Go down as much as you like. Push through your feet, inhale back up, like the breath lifts you back up. Okay, we're going to stay 1 breath this time. So exhale down into your chair. On your inhale, lift your arms right up to the height of your shoulders. No rush. On your exhale, lower your arms down, pull your belly and sink into your heels a little bit. And then stand back up on your in-breath. Okay, we're going to do that 2 breaths this time, if I remember. Exhale down. Now inhale your arms up. Shoulder height is fine, but if you can lift your arms up higher, you can try that. When you begin the exhale, hug your belly and just lower your arms and your eyes back down. No rushing here. And again, inhale, lift your arms, shoulder height or higher. Exhale, lower your arms, pull your belly in. Inhale up to standing. Next one, we're going to hold 3 breaths so you can decide how much bend you want to have in your knees. So take a big inhale. Hug your belly in as you exhale down into your chair. Now this one, inhale your arms up, whichever height is good for you, and hold them there on the exhale and soften your elbows, pull in your belly. Hold on your inhale and lengthen the whole side body, spread your fingers. Exhale, it's fine if your arms are just shoulder height, maybe bend your knees a little more. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. 1 more inhale. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale your arms down. Inhale up to standing. Take that block away if you had it there, and we'll shake all that off. So you should feel a little bit of heat. You can step your feet out about shoulder width apart, so you might feel your heart rate went up a little bit. It's good to notice what you feel, to notice the sensations in your body. That's what we're doing when we do our yoga practice. We're cultivating awareness. And then come to pause again, standing in mountain pose. You might roll your palms open. You might even close your eyes for a moment. And just, again, that getting a sense of how you feel. And then blinking your eyes open, we're going to step the feet in a wide position here. And we did the downward facing dog pose when we were on our hands and knees. We're going to do it from here with wide feet. So depending on your body, if you have longer legs, you may have your feet a little bit wider. So have your toes facing forward. Take an in-breath like we just did in our chair pose. And on the exhale, we're going to bend the knees and kind of bow down like chair pose. And we're going to just stay here for a moment in this little squat and move side to side, exploring the hips and the inner thighs. Don't hurt your knees. And then we're going to let the hands make their way down to the floor. So you could hold here, lifting the chest. You could even use the yoga block under your hands and pedal out your legs. And while you're noticing what you feel, you may want to adjust the distance between your feet. So you're welcome to have your feet closer or wider apart. And then all the way down to our downward dog. So walk your hands out in front of you now, a little wider than your shoulders, and try to keep your heels on the floor. You're drawing down into the heels and drawing the hips back as the hands inch forward. Feel free to bend the knees or alternately bend and straighten the legs. Take some deep breaths. You can even let your head hang down if you like. Take a moment to walk your hands back up underneath your shoulders and look up. On the exhale, bend your knees and walk back up to that little squat with your hands on your knees, and then inhale up to standing. Come up slowly so you don't get dizzy, and then take a moment to step your feet back in. And we're going to do a little swinging movement to shake that off. So let your feet come out wide. You can swing your arms, turn your head, make silly sounds. If you've ever been around me, you know I like horse lips. You can say any silly sounds. Sighs are good too. Some releasing breath. We're going to do one more kind of releasing thing. So we're going to shake things. So you can shake your feet, shake your legs. And this other way of shaking is to let the heels just lift up off of the floor and you kind of bounce on your heels. It's called rebounding. And it makes everything jiggle and shake. And that's the idea. You want to get the heels to just lift up. And it's fun to make sounds here. You can hum or So this moves fluid around the body. It actually has a good purpose. It helps to release, of course it's releasing, but it moves fluid around the body. It hydrates your connective tissue. So, nice for you. And then you can pause again and notice how you feel after you're jiggling and shaking. It's good to cultivate the ability to pause, to notice. And then for the next part, we're going to lie back down on our back like we did at the beginning. So go ahead and make your way back onto your back. Once you're on your back, you can draw your knees into your chest and notice what movement feels good. We did this at the beginning. We were rocking side to side, or you might like circling your knees. You can see what you feel. You could shake your feet again, especially after all our tiptoes. You may want to shake out your feet or shake your hands. Just do a little more shaking if you didn't get enough. And then please take your feet to the floor. And we're going to do a little twisting movement. So if you have a pillow or a blanket or a block, place it over by your right side. We're going to draw the knees up, whatever is close for you, pretty close to your chest. And we're going to take both knees over to that right side. And you can rest them on that support. And you can see what height is helpful. So we want to let the chest open and that left arm stretch out. And if that left shoulder is like way up in the air, you may want to raise your knees up higher. If you can keep your shoulder on the floor and lower your knees down a little bit more, fine. But keep that shoulder stabilized on the floor. And then see if you can draw the knees up a little closer. You might even be holding onto your knees with your right hand. Take a big breath here. Think about your left side, left chest. And exhale, slowly pull your belly in. Some people find it useful to put something in between the knees here if that's helpful for your hips. So big inhale, and on the exhale, pull your belly in. You might, and this is quite subtle, try to slide that top knee a little bit, and then emphasize a little bit closer to the lower knee. It's a small movement in your knees, but it's a big movement in your back. So big inhale, and on the exhale, that top knee might move just ever so slightly closer to your lower knee without hurting your back at all. Big breath in. Try to cultivate a little longer exhale here. Stay 2 more breaths. This is a nice one to do in bed. You have pillows and things you can prop up your legs. So after you complete your next exhale, let the top knee rise on your inhale and roll back onto your back. and place both feet on the floor. So before we do that to the other side, we're going to think about our breath with the palms down by your sides. We're going to do just a couple of little baby bridge poses. So the heels are right here in line with your hip bones, and as you inhale, let your hips lift up. And as you exhale, lower your hips back down. And one more time, just a little baby bridge. And exhale down. So we'll do more after the next side. So a few more repetitions after we do the twist to the other side. So get whatever support you have, put it over by your left side and draw your knees up close. And with your knees together, go on over to the left. And when you get there, just stretch your right arm out and see if it feels like it's supported by the floor, your right arm, your right shoulder. If it's way up off of the floor, you might bring your knees back up higher. So find that place where you can have your knees over and pretty close to your chest. A little safer for your hips and low back to draw the knees up closer. And that right arm still comfortably resting on the floor. Take an in-breath. On the exhale, just pull your belly in here. Start to notice the right side. What do you feel here? Might be different than the other side. You might try with great awareness moving the top knee ever so slightly closer to the lower knee without feeling any strain in your back at all. Again, it's a little movement in your knees, but it's a big movement in your back. Hug your belly in. A little bit longer exhales. We'll stay again for 2 breaths here. So holding these poses, especially these twisting poses, can be quite nice. You may notice something has shifted already in just these few breaths. Maybe something has opened or softened for you. After you complete that breath, that last exhale, on your inhale, bring your knees back up. Roll gently onto your back and lower your feet to the floor. And again, even things up. Even up your shoulders and hips, and we'll prepare for the bridge pose. We'll do 3 or 4 repetitions. You want to even up your neck as well. As you're ready on the inhale, you can lift your hips up, whatever amount feels good for you. So you might stay with a quite small movement. Exhale down, or you can let the movement be bigger, depending on how you're feeling. So it's as if the breath is moving you. So you feel the breath in your chest as you lift. Belly in as you lower down. And you might go up 1 or 2 more times. You might go up and stay for 1 or 2 breaths. See what's nice for you. Keep breathing. So if you're still up here, let the next exhale bring you down. And one more time, draw your knees into your chest and give yourself a hug. Maybe a little rocking, or maybe that last little shaking off of any energy you have left you want to shake off. And then we'll begin to shift toward the relaxation part of our practice. So let your feet come down to the floor and notice how that feels for your back and the rest of your body to rest with your knees bent. For many people, this is better to lie this way than to have the legs stretched out flat, but you're welcome to lie flat if it works for you. You may even add some extra clothing, get warm, like I could put the blanket over my belly or anything that helps you to be comfortable here. You could have your hands on your belly, you could have your hands by your sides. We're going to take a couple of sighs to let go here, so please inhale. Big sigh. You feel that releasing. You can just let go, just give yourself permission to rest. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy, and may you live with ease. May we all be safe. May we all be happy. May we all be healthy, and may we all live with ease. May we all live in peace. I encourage you to continue to let your body rest for 5, even 10 more minutes, just being still and comfortable. If that's a little challenging for you, for some people lying still is hard, try 12 breaths before you get up. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.